Did Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex, formerly known as Meghan Markle, post Princess Diana's final resting place on her latest Instagram photo dump of her family's vacation to Europe? Let's first look at her Instagram, because that's where we're going to find the proof, right? As we can see, there is no proof. There are no photos of Princess Diana's final resting place. There aren't even any photos of Princess Diana's memorial. If you want to know what her memorial looks like, here we have from Charles Spencer's Instagram when he posted Princess Diana's memorial after it was refurbished. We do know from the photos that the family was there visiting Althorp and visiting Charles Spencer, and also some super sleuths already figured out that the family was going to be there because Althorp House has its own Instagram page, and it was going to be closed for 2 days in July. That lined up with the timeline that Meghan and Harry were supposed to be in the UK. The photos that Meghan shared when they were on the Althorp estate are photos that you can quite literally find online, like the one with Lily in the background. Then you have like Archie and Harry walking a little bit further than her. Yeah, you can find those photos online when you look up Althorp Gardens.
There are moments when the headlines tell one story, and then there are moments when the facts quietly dismantle that story piece by piece. Today's discussion is about one of those moments. It's about how a familiar cycle seems to repeat itself whenever Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, share even the smallest glimpse of their lives. Every time they appear happy, every time they release a carefully chosen family photograph, every time they celebrate a personal milestone, it almost feels as though a countdown begins. Within hours, social media lights up, television commentators weigh in, opinion columns appear, countless online debates begin, often focusing not on what is actually happening, but on what some people wish were happening. And that's exactly why this latest controversy has captured so much attention. Because once again, a simple family moment somehow became the center of an enormous media storm. Once again, critics rushed to conclusions before all the facts were available. Once again, narratives spread faster than evidence. And once again, many of those narratives started falling apart the moment people began asking one simple question: where is the proof? That question matters more than ever. For years now, Harry and Meghan have been at the center of countless headlines. Some have been fair, others have been heavily opinionated. But what continues to surprise many observers is how ordinary moments involving the Sussex family often receive extraordinary levels of scrutiny. Think about it: a family photograph, children enjoying nature, a peaceful visit connected to Meghan's maternal family history. For most families, those would simply be treasured memories. For Harry and Meghan, they somehow become international debates. That says far more about the current media environment than it does about the Sussexes themselves. The latest discussion began after photographs connected to Althorp Estate generated widespread attention online. Supporters viewed the images as warm, personal, and symbolic. Althorp is, after all, deeply connected to Princess Diana's family and legacy. It represents an important part of Harry's own history. Many people saw those images through that emotional lens. They saw a father reconnecting his children with part of their grandmother's heritage. They saw family. They saw continuity. They saw healing. Yet almost immediately, critics attempted to transform those same photographs into something entirely different. Questions appeared everywhere. Why now? Who took the photos? Was this planned? Was there another motive? The speculation spread rapidly despite very little concrete evidence supporting many of the more dramatic claims being circulated. That's where things began changing. As more information emerged and as people looked closely at what had actually happened, instead of what some commentators suggested had happened, many of the louder accusations simply stopped making sense. One assumption after another began collapsing, one theory after another lost credibility, and suddenly those who had confidently declared they knew exactly what was happening found themselves with remarkably little evidence to support their conclusions. This pattern has become increasingly familiar. Harry and Meghan announce a project. Critics predict failure. The project succeeds. Attention shifts elsewhere. Harry attends a charity event. Some dismiss it. Positive reactions pour in. The conversation changes. Meghan launches a new venture. Predictions of disaster dominate certain headlines. Public interest proves far stronger than expected. The same cycle repeats. It's almost as though some critics have become so invested in a particular narrative that changing course becomes incredibly difficult, even when reality points in another direction. That's one reason why so many viewers have started questioning not Harry and Meghan, but the commentary surrounding them. People are asking whether the criticism has become less about accountability and more about maintaining a storyline. Because if every photograph becomes suspicious, if every appearance becomes controversial, if every family celebration becomes a national debate, then eventually audiences begin asking whether the outrage is genuine or simply predictable. That question deserves careful thought. The Sussexes have repeatedly stated that they want greater control over how much of their private family life becomes public. Some interpreted that as disappearing completely from public view, but those are not the same thing. Privacy does not mean invisibility. Parents all over the world understand this distinction. Many choose not to post hundreds of photographs of their children online, while still occasionally sharing a birthday picture or a family holiday memory. That doesn't make them inconsistent. It makes them parents making personal choices. Harry and Meghan appear to be following a similar path. When they choose to share a carefully selected family image, they do so on their own terms, not because photographers forced the moment, not because strangers captured private occasions without consent, but because they decided that particular memory was one they felt comfortable sharing. That distinction is significant. Control matters, choice matters, consent matters. These are principles Harry has spoken about repeatedly over the years, especially considering his own experiences growing up under relentless media attention. It is impossible to discuss Harry's perspective without remembering Princess Diana. He witnessed firsthand what constant media pursuit looked like. He experienced what it meant to grow up surrounded by cameras. Those experiences clearly shaped how he approaches fatherhood today. Whether someone agrees with every decision he makes or not, it's understandable why protecting Archie and Lilibet remains one of his highest priorities. Many parents would likely do exactly the same.
This latest controversy also highlights something else: the remarkable difference between online outrage and everyday public opinion. Social media often creates the impression that everyone is angry. In reality, millions of people simply looked at the photographs, smiled, and continued with their day. Many saw nothing controversial whatsoever. Instead, they saw children enjoying beautiful surroundings. They saw Harry appearing relaxed. They saw Meghan looking happy. They saw a family spending time together. That was enough. Sometimes the loudest voices online are not necessarily the largest voices. That distinction can easily be forgotten. One interesting aspect of this discussion has been the growing number of people outside traditional Sussex supporters who have started questioning the intensity of the criticism. Even individuals who don't describe themselves as fans have asked why ordinary family moments continue generating extraordinary outrage. They point to an obvious imbalance. Other public figures share family photographs, most receive warm responses. Harry and Meghan do the same. Entire news cycles emerge. It's difficult not to notice that difference. Another recurring topic involves the double standards many observers believe exist within royal coverage. Some members of the royal family receive widespread calls for privacy whenever difficult moments arise. Those appeals are often understandable and compassionate. Yet when Harry and Meghan request similar consideration, the response from certain corners can appear noticeably different. That contrast has become increasingly difficult for audiences to ignore. Consistency matters. Principles matter most when applied equally. If privacy deserves respect, then surely it deserves respect regardless of which royal family member is involved. Many viewers believe that's simply common sense. Beyond the headlines, Harry and Meghan continue focusing on projects that reflect the direction they've chosen for their lives. Whether through charitable work, business ventures, media production, or community initiatives, they appear determined to build something independent. That journey hasn't always been smooth. Every public figure faces criticism. Harry and Meghan are certainly no exception, but resilience has become one of the defining characteristics of their post-royal chapter. Instead of disappearing after intense scrutiny, they've continued moving forward. Instead of allowing every criticism to define them, they've concentrated on work they believe has purpose. That determination resonates with many supporters around the world. Perhaps that's another reason these family photographs attracted so much positive attention among those who viewed them differently. They represented more than pictures. They symbolized stability. They suggested confidence. They reflected a family that appears focused less on endless public arguments and more on creating meaningful memories together. Sometimes that message speaks louder than any interview ever could. Children laughing in a garden often communicate more about happiness than carefully crafted public statements. There's something refreshingly ordinary about it, and perhaps that's exactly what unsettles some critics. Ordinary happiness doesn't fit dramatic narratives. Families smiling together don't generate sensational headlines unless someone decides to manufacture controversy around them. But manufactured controversy has limits. Eventually, audiences begin asking harder questions. Eventually, they demand evidence. Eventually, assumptions face reality. that's precisely what happened here. The claims became bigger, the evidence remained smaller, and as more people examined the facts independently, many realized that much of the outrage relied more on speculation than confirmation. That doesn't mean every discussion about Harry and Meghan must be positive. Constructive criticism has an important place in public life, but criticism carries greater weight when it's grounded in verified facts rather than assumptions. The same standard should apply to everyone. One encouraging development has been seeing more people pause before accepting dramatic headlines at face value. Media literacy has become increasingly important. Readers are checking multiple sources. They're comparing claims. They're asking where information originated. They're distinguishing between reporting and opinion. Those habits strengthen public conversation. They encourage fairness. They reduce the influence of sensationalism. Harry himself has often spoken about the importance of responsible journalism, while acknowledging that quality journalism plays an essential role in democracy. Those ideas are not contradictory. Supporting accurate reporting does not require accepting every headline uncritically. If anything, it encourages higher standards.
Looking ahead, it's unlikely that Harry and Meghan will suddenly disappear from public conversation. Their lives continue attracting global interest. Their projects continue drawing attention. Their family continues fascinating audiences around the world. That reality probably isn't changing anytime soon. The more interesting question is whether public conversation surrounding them will evolve. Will evidence begin carrying greater weight than assumptions? Will consistency become more important than selective outrage? Will ordinary family moments eventually be allowed to remain exactly that? Ordinary family moments? Many people hope so. Because at the end of the day, behind every headline are real human beings. Behind every photograph are parents and children. Behind every viral debate is a family simply trying to navigate life under extraordinary public attention. Perhaps that's worth remembering before rushing to judgment. As this latest episode demonstrates, narratives built on assumptions can collapse remarkably quickly once evidence enters the conversation. Facts have a way of cutting through noise. Reality has a habit of outlasting speculation. And while headlines come and go, Harry and Meghan appear determined to keep doing what they've consistently said matters most to them: raising their children, supporting causes they care about, pursuing meaningful work, and building a life centered on their own values. Whether people agree with every decision they make or not, one thing remains difficult to ignore. Despite years of intense scrutiny, despite endless predictions of failure, despite repeated attempts to define their story for them, they continue moving forward. Perhaps that's the biggest story of all. Not the outrage, not the speculation, not the endless commentary, but the simple fact that Harry and Meghan continue choosing family, purpose, and optimism over constant distraction. And in a world where every photo can become a headline and every smile can become a debate, that quiet determination may ultimately prove stronger than even the loudest smear campaign.